small talk is actually really good for mental health. Let's speak about this to Professor Paul Dolan, behavioural scientist and author of many books, including Happiness by Design, Finding Pleasure and Purpose in Everyday Life. Hello, Professor Paul.
Good morning,
And
Rachel.
I guess small talk is everyday life. How do you do it?
How do I do it? Well, I'm actually quite lucky that I enjoy speaking to people. And do you know, when we're happy, it's really in the small things. And we often can mispredict and misforecast what things will make us happy. So I saw from that study that even boring conversations make people happy.
Yes.
And I think part of that is because we think we're going to pay attention to the topic of the conversation when actually we experience the interaction with the other person. So it's that kind of connection that makes us happy. It doesn't really matter what we're talking about.
What you're talking about. Yeah, so this is a study from scientists at Michigan University, and no matter the subject, there were benefits from the interactions, as you say, and they cited things like even if they were talking about history, the stock markets, vegan diets, onions and maths.
Onions? Who talks about onions?
I don't know, Paul. I don't know. But they have a benefit. Do you think that we are sort of losing the art of small talk as we become more screen-based in our interactions?
I think that's almost certainly true. I mean, you'd expect an academic to say that there's no randomised controlled trials, and there aren't any, so we can't really say causally whether that's true. But we do know, look, I mean, during COVID, particularly for younger people during their formative years, if you're going to strip away social interaction and just that everyday encounter, well, it's bound to have a lasting effect. So I think actually maybe this is something that we could, I know it sounds a bit odd, but maybe we could actually teach it in schools a bit more, just to have a random conversation with people.
Small talk, yeah. Well, there are always those moments if you work in an office where, for us, it's when you're over at the tea and coffee station and you're making a cup of tea and you have the kind of general chit chat, because if you went there in silence, it would be odd. But sometimes the chit chat can also feel a bit like, oh, I'm just saying the same old thing I always say. How are you? Good. Fine. How's your day? Fine. You know, is there benefit to that?
Well, do you know, that's really interesting, because one of the things about those random conversations are actually aside from small talk, for actually productivity in work, because often we have the most important conversations outside of the formal settings. So it can actually be helpful for that as well. But just from the small talk perspective, I mean, we're very lucky in the UK because we can talk about the weather, can't we? Oh. So that's always a go-to.
Yeah, I mean, talk to a weather forecaster about that. They get absolutely sick of it. I want a different go-to subject. I want a sort of nailed-on, successful, small talk go-to subject. What would it be for you, Prof?
Well, it has to be onions.
What are you going to say about onions?
Do you know your onions?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, you know, thing is that we all think it's going to be a bit awkward, but everybody feels that, and then we all know that the other person might feel it's awkward. Okay. So it's actually quite helpful knowing that. Actually, you can just talk about anything, Rachel.
I'm going to challenge our audience today to go out and talk about onions with anyone they want to. Report back, see how that goes. Thank you very much, Professor Paul Dolan.